Howdy, folks. It's Howie here, Howie Cat. I'm going to do a little review or talk about or something a book called Gotham High. Now, Gotham High was a really controversial book before it came out. Really, really controversial. And it says certain crowd that doesn't like, any kind of change whatsoever. That was upset. They were really upset. Now, in this, I'm not saying this is a great idea. I'm saying I had to read it before I'm going to tell you whether it worked or not. I'm not going to get upset about the idea. Melissa de la Cruz, she is Chinese. Not that that's a big deal at all, but she she got an assignment to write a Batman story, and she didn't know anything about Batman. So her first idea was to change Bruce Wayne into Chinese, which is fine. There's nothing about him that shouldn't be Chinese. And she decided that the fortune came from his mother's side rather than his father. Again, that's fine. And this is what really had people up in arms. The other changes that is odd is it's now no longer really a Batman story. It is Gossip Girl. It's a high school story with Bruce Wayne, Selena Kyle, and Jack Napier. I think his name was Napier in the book. The Joker, Catwoman, and Batman, all in high school together in a love triangle. It was really silly, the idea. But they got upset about other stuff. Really a lot. Like, Alfred was made his caretaker, and he's gay and has a husband. Again, big deal. The principal of the school was a black lady named Principal Gordon. So Commissioner Gordon was changed to black and a woman. And of course, since it takes place in high school, was made a principal rather than a commissioner. And Batgirl, Barbara Gordon, was the daughter, and she was a black girl in the school. And these are things that people were bothered by. Now, I'm bothered by the story. It was kind of a really crappy story. I'm not going to lie about that. I think the bad storytelling should stand on its own merits. There is, to me, nothing wrong with the character, gender bending, swapping, everything else. Even taking it and putting it in a high school. I've seen The Wizard of Oz retold with the Teen Titans once. I've seen all kinds of stories redone. People have done so many things with heroes. That this all of a sudden, it's bad, it's in high school. It's like, no, some of the Elseworld stories from DC are some of the greatest stories ever told. Like, what if Superman landed in Russia and we have Red Sun and all that? That's some of the greatest stuff. So don't say, he has to be from America and the story's worthless. No, it works. The idea works. What doesn't work is the ending. I mean, it's actually really good up until the end. We have Bruce Wayne being Bruce Wayne in school. We have an introduction. He finds out stuff is happening. He's trying to solve some crimes. He realizes that poisons are being used to take some people out, which means it was actually Poison Ivy doing some of this. Not all, but, and you have the love triangle, and you have all this. The only problem to me is in the end, Bruce Wayne fails. He doesn't solve the crime. He's not the super detective that he is, and it doesn't work out to me. I think the story fails on that level. And that could be because she doesn't understand that Bruce Wayne is not ever inept. Batman's always going to figure it out. He's always going to solve the crime. That's one of the things you cannot get away. You can change his gender. You can change his race. You can change that he's a millionaire or he's living in high school, whatever. That all works. But in the end, it has to be Bruce Wayne that is, if it's a Bruce Wayne story. That to me is all. That was my problem with it. Really, all in all, I don't think it's bad. I think all this controversy about people up in arms freaking out that Alfred's gay, and so what if a Chinese person picks this up because they hear Batman's Chinese now and they read it and they like it, and now they're buying comic books and other graphic novels, or they're reading and they're hooked. Isn't that good? That's kind of what we want, right? As comic fans, because that was her attitude. Was she doesn't see enough of herself in books. She wanted to write herself. I think that makes sense. A lot of it makes sense. The story just it fails structurally at the end. Other than that, I would give it to a kid to read. I don't think it would mess him up. Like, oh no, I found out that Batman actually, his money came from his mom. That's not right. That's okay. But other than that, I enjoyed the book. I enjoyed the book right up to the end. The end, it just fell apart. That happens. Stories don't always have a proper ending. I've seen that too many times. But all in all, I'm going to say a fair read. And it got a lot of hate over things that should not have been given hate. Those were ridiculous. If you're going to hate the story on its own merits, hate the story because it does fall apart in the end. But if you're going to hate it because there's some gender changes or some race changes, then you're just an idiot. All right. Thanks a lot, folks. That was a comic review for once. Talk to you all later. Bye-bye.